Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I'm back. Just woke up. Wanted to do this video quickly. It's about Judas. Okay, so as the question I'm posing is, was Judas really a bad guy? Right? Right now, sort of the narrative for Judas is that he is a traitor and betrayed Christ. Right? I think even the dictionary definition, when you look up Judas, it would be like one who betrays under the guise of friendship. Sheesh, my man's got a bad rep. Um, but yeah, I want to ask a different question to say, without Judas, does Jesus die and save humanity? So Judas in the group is the guy that's been entrusted to handle the money. So Christ and the disciples are like, okay, cool. Judas is the most trustworthy guy, and he's the guy that we want to handle our finances. Right? He's the guy that they give that responsibility. So, which is interesting because then Judas is not like sketchy. He's not like a guy that people are looking at and it's like, man, this guy is sketchy, bro. They're like, she's respectable, good with money, someone we believe that we can trust, right, with the finances. Cool. So later in the story, in John 13:21, Jesus tells his disciples, yo, one of you are gonna betray me, right? And later in the story, Jesus implies that it's Judas, and so, but Christ doesn't say, yo, Judas, it's you, bro. Like, he does a whole thing with like dipping and bread, you know what I mean? Which is also interesting, but it implies that has a significant meaning, because he could have just said, oh, it's Judas. But he implied it. So that's something for those that are interested to go and check out. So when Jesus implies it's Judas, basically through the what says it's Judas, the Bible says, then the devil and the ideas start to enter into Judas's head. Right? Which is interesting. It says, after he identifies it's Judas, then the devil enters. So before this, Judas is not going around, with this mindset, trying to do anything like sus. He's like committed, trustworthy, doing what he's got to do, for the group, for Christ, and for the call. And so the question then is, so who instigated this? Who got the ball rolling, right? And the answer is, it's Christ. Christ then says to Judas, whatever you're going to do it quickly. So he then instructs him. You see that? Christ instigates it, gets the ball rolling, the devil enters, the ideas enter. Then Christ tells him, whatever you're going to do it quickly. So on Judas's part, this wasn't premeditated, right? We've established that. Judas, in essence, has been chosen. And so the interesting part, I think, especially when you look at the other disciples, is I think Jesus chooses Judas because he knows that he can trust Judas. Because Judas is trustworthy, I can give him this responsibility, right? And know that he will get it done. So Judas was entrusted by Jesus to get the ball rolling for your salvation. Judas was entrusted with the responsibility to get the most amazing story. For it's what's that thing called in the movies where it builds up to the, you know what I'm saying? Jesus is like, nah, Judas is my guy. He's not gonna let me down. He's the guy that's gonna do it. Okay, so for us, what does this mean? I think it links to the situations that we have caused for ourselves or other people have caused, where we've been let down or hurt. that these scenarios are actually giving us an opportunity to be or do something great. You know, it's saying, recently I've been saying the devil is actually giving you an opportunity. The devil is actually giving you an opportunity. Every time he trips you up, right? The intent is that you remember who you are. Right? So every time you say, oh man, the devil, blah, 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 say, ah, sheesh. Controversial, be like, ah, sheesh, thanks for the reminder. Every time he trips you up, the intent is that you remember whose you are. Right? So it's the prodigal son story. It's a narrative that's saying, come home, return home, remember whose you are and come back home. These scenarios, our own personal Judases, whether they're caused by external people or our internal self, it's a mechanism that has been built to remind you to go back home. So Jesus chose Judas, and God, he created all things.